Welcome back, everybody,
Welcome back
to another episode of Caravan of Garbage,
to another episode of Caravan of Garbage.
where we're looking at Daredevil.
Stop copying me. Oh, sorry.
Where we're looking at Daredevil and a Daredevil adjacent film. All of the films in the Daredevil duology. Let's just call it that, Mason.
I love it.
Now, you call this this era of comic book movies the bad old days, don't you? Please leave a like on the video.
I kind of do, yeah.
But why?
A lot of them were bad.
Yeah, but not all of them.
Uh-huh.
This was just after Spider-Man 1.
And you can tell.
Yeah, Blade had come out.
You can tell.
Blade 2 was around this time. Some X-Men.
Yep, sure.
This is some good
All right,
stuff
maybe
here.
I should call this the good era of good movies.
Okay, yeah. But here's the thing. In watching this, I was like, is this the first time the Marvel flicking through the comic panel thing at the start? Spider-Man started that.
Right, sure.
Though maybe Judge Dredd did it first in 95.
Dredd.
Yeah, potentially. Got a very interesting Stallone fact at the end also.
What?
Also, that might not be true. That's just off the top of my head. But this
Was
is
he
true.
going to be Elektra?
Yes, he was.
Wow.
But this is true.
Hey, you remember me? Hey, you killed my dad.
This is, though, the first Marvel film to include the sound effect of the pages flipping.
Oh,
logo.
okay. That's how they innovated.
So you got to give it that.
Audio, okay, immersive.
Yeah.
It is not, of course, the first Marvel movie to do the really long, involved intro sequence. This one, of course, it's the city, and it's Braille, and it's the title sequence.
Yeah, it's all of it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is what they used to do, going through DNA or webs or...
They were like, can we do DNA? What's the DNA of a blind person look like? Can we do that? Seems offensive.
Yeah.
I don't think it is, but it might be.
It might be.
Do you think this made any concessions to visually impaired people in the cinema?
Actually, well, I thought you meant...
Because I know the TV series did.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I know it did go out of its way to add some realistic elements. Like,
He
for example,
folds his money.
he's folding his money. The setup of his apartment.
Which is interesting because he doesn't need to do any of that.
No.
Because he can tell what the money is. He can probably put his hand over it and be like, that's a loony. You know?
He knows loonies too?
Yeah. Yep.
God.
No, he'd be like, that's a 10 because I can feel the 10 on it.
Oh,
or
okay,
whatever, you
yeah,
know
well,
what I
that
mean?
would make sense, I guess,
right?
yeah.
But I guess maybe it's for keeping up appearances.
Yeah.
Hyacinth bouquet style. Even though he doesn't invite anybody to his apartment.
No, never.
So there's no reason to have any, like, visually impaired assistance things in the place.
It's a good point, yeah.
Also, he has that weird bath that
I was going to say he has a
lives in
stone sarcophagus.
that he lives in. That's right. And honestly, I don't think that would be very helpful.
You'd hear the slushing.
You'd hear so much slushing because that's the... I'll tell you what I like about this version, it's sort of a riff on the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, but it's like, what if having these powers made your very existence kind of bad? And like your desire to do good... If you don't have superhuman strength, and invulnerability, and
Your knees are bad.
but your knees are bad.
Your teeth came out.
It's sort of a painful existence, but you soldier on. I quite like that idea.
Yeah.
But the idea that the world of the raucous world of New York City, baby, is too much for him. It's too loud and there's too much going on or whatever. Again, if you're sitting in that bath, it's just slush, 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 slush all night. Slush, slush.
He likes the slush, maybe, though.
Maybe he likes
Don't
the
you like the
slush.
slush of the ocean? When it goes slush.
I do like the slush of the
Slush,
ocean.
slush, slush.
I like, when you put a shell up to your ear and you hear the slush of the ocean.
I tell you what, I liked this at the time, and I still like it.
I didn't like it at the time, and you know what? Maybe I'm mellowing in my old age, but I had kind of a pretty good time with it this time. I saw the non-extended version. You watched the extended version, R.I.P. Coolio.
Yeah. I don't think it adds much. I think, it is longer, and that was apparently the original theatrical cut, and there's some more swears, I think, and some more violence.
Oh, swears.
But I don't think that Coolio subplot in particular really adds that much to the movie overall. 20 years on, Mark Steven Johnson, who directed this, he said, looking back on it, one of the mistakes I made with the film was wanting to put everything in it. I wanted an origin story, I wanted to do the Elektra saga, I wanted to introduce Bullseye and Foggy, I wanted everything to be in there, but the film could only support so much. And then when you're told to cut half an hour of it, it'd make it more of a love story, things start to feel rushed and not quite right. It's a fan thing when you love something so much, you want to tell it all.
And then Avi Arad says, add Coolio.
Yeah.
And it's too much, it tips it over.
It does, doesn't
But
it?
I thought, this time around, brisk, You know, some interesting shots.
Great imagery.
Great imagery.
Some of the time.
Some of the time. Some of the fights are really hard to see what's going on.
Yeah, some are good though,
I
some
would
of the
say
time.
too much unnecessarily flipping and flopping about.
Yeah.
Too much waggling of those sticks as far as I'm concerned. Because there's a moment where he gets all his gear on to go out and hunt, you know.
And he goes...
And he does, I guess you have to test out all the various features of your stick.
That's right.
All the flipping and the flopping and the nunchucking and the grappling and so forth.
I think the action, when it's real, for the most part is good. The playground, I think, is an exception. That's just a silly thing that happens. That's also from the comics. There's a moment that he has with Echo, which is similar.
Yeah, Speaking of, hold that thought. I think there's probably a better way to instigate a meet cute between two characters who are destined to be, you know, great lovers than just having him follow her down the street and bother her.
Yeah, he's also a root rat.
Yeah.
He's got many great loves.
I mean, Daredevil famously a root rat, exactly, yes. You grab her as she's about to leave?
Yeah.
Steady on,
Don't
mate.
do that.
No wonder she went to hit you.
Yeah, also, she'd be like, you're not blind. Well, this is a pickup artist thing or something.
He never breaks it down, does he?
No.
Why do you have a hat with a feather in it? Because I'm blind? I didn't know in the store.
I think like the moment at the beginning where he's in the bar is quite good, where he's beating up all the thugs. When he becomes a CGI man, I think that doesn't hold up very
Absolutely
well
not, no.
for a lot of it. But all in all, yeah, I think the aesthetic of this movie, just the overall vibe and look is quite good. I think the suit is right for the time.
At least it's got the logo on it.
Yeah.
Something that the modern Daredevil will not commit to for some reason. Oh, I've got 5 different helmets. Put the D's
the
on
logo
chest.
on, man.
Put the logo on, man.
Yeah. I think, it is leather because we're in the era of X-Men.
Yeah.
And they went through multiple iterations of what this would look like. And I think they landed on the thing that was the best for then. Not now. This is ridiculous.
Sure, absolutely. That silhouette could be anyone.
Yeah, I think though he is too athletic in some of it as well.
Well, they all are a little bit.
Yeah.
Everybody can do impossible leaps. And there's
Because he's
some...
not Spider-Man.
No, but there is some vague allusion to the fact that he's like, well, because I got enhanced senses, I'm stronger.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I don't think that's in the extended actually, because I remember it being in the original. I don't know for a fact. But look, Ben Affleck was a huge fan of the character. Apparently he read every single comic book that featured Daredevil in preparation for the role. Or he said he did.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
as good as. That's what we as the fans want.
True.
For somebody to say they read all the comics.
He also wrote the foreword of the collected paperback edition of Kevin Smith's run on Daredevil. Speaking of...
He just told his assistant what to write down. They were just walking down the street. He's like, oh, we're going to Dunkin'. We're going to Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I got to get a coffee. Oh, I'm so hungover. Can you hand me my cigarettes? Oh, yeah, Daredevil. I love it.
Kevin Smith actually suggested him to Mark Steven Johnson. And speaking of, Kevin Smith is in this movie, along with Joey Pants, Jon Favreau, AJ Soprano was in this.
That's right.
You might not have seen her, but Grey's Anatomy plays Karen Page in the extended.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it does the origin pretty well, considering it crams everything in. They do Battle and Jack Murdoch. You know, they have him get the toxic waste. Though I think it's a radioactive isotope in the original comic, maybe.
It's a little canister of radioactive waste that falls out of the back of a truck. In this, it's directly the fault of that guy with the forklift.
Absolutely
They
it
should
is.
take away his forklift certification, in
And
my
his,
opinion.
and his eyes.
And his eyes also.
There is no Ninja Turtles reference, though, unfortunately, because their origins are linked.
That's part of union rules. If you blind somebody, you yourself get blinded. And I think it's only fair. It's kind of weird that Jack Murdoch's boss doesn't let him know that all his fights are fixed.
I guess
that's odd.
I guess maybe he's more convincing then.
Yeah, sure.
Or maybe he didn't think he would go for it. You
Yeah,
know?
right,
Yeah. I'd be embarrassed.
I'd be embarrassed too. Yeah.
It'd be like if I found out that my mum was faking all the views on these YouTube videos, which she might be.
Sure.
Do you think she is?
I mean, she's faking the views in the sense that she tells you she watches these videos, but actually she doesn't.
She's never said that. And if she does ever watch, she goes, "You swear too much." Which might be true. I don't know.
Here's one now for you, Mum. Here it is.
Blast. You goddamn prick.
Wow. You'll say anything.
I was worried that she was listening.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
I
coward.
can't think about my mum watching these when I make the videos.
All right.
It impedes my performance.
Sure.
How do you feel about the Echo Vision?
It's not bad.
I like it. Better than the World on Fire.
Yes,
that they
that's
did
too weird and
in
odd and
Netflix.
vague, and they should have kept that ambiguous. They shouldn't have shown it in the Netflix show, I think.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't. World on Fire, come on, man. No, submarine vision.
Yeah.
I want submarine vision. Boom,
Boom.
And the nice bit where, you know, when it's
rain,
raining,
etc.
he can see people's beautiful faces.
Yeah, you can see her irises somehow. Okay. All right. If you say so,
All right.
Mr. Daredevil.
All right, mate. Yeah. Okay.
It also seems like with that vision, sometimes he just sees or hears nothing. There's just a lot of blackness sometimes, which must be terrifying if you're in a fight. Yeah, but they lean into that also as his weakness, obviously. And you know what I do like about this version of the character? It's a little more extreme than the comics because he is a killer. I mean, he has killed in the comics, but he does like some outright killing or one particular mob character at the start of this. Yeah,
He leaves the guy on the train tracks to be run over.
Yeah.
How's that train driver going to feel?
Don't know.
Pretty cool, probably.
Pretty cool. Cut that going off.
Tell all his buddies, you need to take him out on 2 stretches.
Look, I don't think he's any more of a killer than Ben Affleck's version of Batman, though. So, you know, let's be realistic.
No, his body count is way lower than that, I think.
Definitely. Kingpin, though, I think Michael Clarke Duncan is a great choice.
Terrific.
R.I.P.
Absolutely.
What I found interesting about this character, though, because Kingpin debuted as a Spider-Man villain in 1967, and then Frank Miller kind of reintroduced him as a Daredevil villain.
This all off the top of your head?
Yeah, in his run starting in 1981.
Oh, yes.
Top of the Dome, Mason. And I was just wondering about the legality in terms of Sony and Marvel.
Okay.
Because Sony own all the live-action rights to anything Spider-Man. And Kingpin's obviously in the animated Spider-Verse movies, so they brought him over for that. That's a different deal.
Yes.
But why wasn't Kingpin part of the Spider-Man oeuvre?
Oh, I see.
And apparently Kevin...
Is it they just forgot?
Well, I don't know, because Kevin Feige said in 2014 at IGN, Kingpin we either have or somehow share.
Yeah,
so I
okay.
think it's one of those Quicksilver type situations where, yes, he started as a Spider-Man character, but because he's now more known as Daredevil, there's enough ambiguity there where they could use him.
Maybe.
And it just seems now that he's solidly in the Marvel MCU camp at this point.
True.
I mean, Sony, though, you could make a Kingpin origin story.
Oh, yes, please.
Little Kingpin.
Sure. Who could they get for that? The Rizzler? They could use the Rizzler.
Aren't you worried that the Rizzler will be dead by the time this comes out?
I
This
don't
ages
even
badly?
really know who the Rizzler is.
But to the face.
Does he have a...
This one.
Oh, right.
He's Rizzler.
And they go boom or something?
Maybe.
Okay.
Ask Joel Dusha. He loves the Rizzler.
When they're excited about different Costco products, they go boom?
Yeah,
Is
they
that...
probably do,
Okay,
Mason.
and that guy's not his dad? It's just some other guy?
I don't know. Ask
Interesting.
Joel Dusha. Here is his Instagram handle.
Okay.
Check it out. I like Colin Farrell as Bullseye in this. Completely unhinged.
You know, I do, and I understand that they had to change his costume because otherwise it's just two, like, leather-clad jumpsuit silhouettes in the darkness and you couldn't tell them apart.
But he wanted a costume.
He did.
When
and
he
didn't
said
get
that, I'm
one.
like, you're in a costume. What do you mean?
Yeah. You're quite costumey. You look like you come from a Halloween party.
He does.
Does he kill that guy? You remember that guy? He's like, you Irish son of a bitch or whatever, and then
He
kills
throws
the guy.
yeah.
Were they in an Irish bar? Why would you say that in an Irish bar? They were playing House of Pain on the stereo.
I don't know, man.
Probably, yeah, that's a stupid thing to say to anyone in an Irish bar, let alone a guy who just did 5 bullseyes on a dartboard. Obviously, he's going to kill you. Come on. Look, something that kind of bugged me in this, in retrospect, it sort of feels like a nod to the comic books. It's that Colin Farrell as Bullseye narrates everything that he does.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I missed, never miss, and I'm mad about it. They shot me in my hands. You've ruined my hands, and now I can't be Bullseye anymore. That was my whole thing.
It was.
Like, we know, we saw it.
Yeah. Are you saying use your face for acting, Colin Farrell?
Correct.
Well, now he's the Penguin, so
Yeah.
you happy with him now?
And now
Is he
Ben
improved?
Affleck's the Batman.
Well,
My heart he always will be.
I don't think so.
Except for Robert Pattinson and all the next ones.
Yeah, and the previous ones.
And the Rizzler.
And the Rizzler. Did you get the soundtrack?
Oh my God.
Stop me if you've heard of any of these bands.
Hoobastank.
Yes. And Evanescence.
Twice.
Twice.
Big payday for Evanescence.
Oh, yeah. Fuel.
Oh, Fuel, and it's not Shimmer.
It's not Shimmer.
Fuel had another song.
They
did.
did.
You know that?
I like Fuel.
Yeah, and it's a funeral. Is it a funeral song?
It might
They
be
played
a
at the funeral?
it might be a funeral song.
No, I think they play My Immortal. I think it's
Oh,
Evanescence,
okay.
but anyway.
The Calling.
Calling.
Seether.
Oh my God.
Drowning Pool featuring Rob Zombie.
Wow.
Finger 11.
Excuse me?
Yeah, man.
Isn't that Daredevil's nickname? Finger 11?
It'll be more
This
than,
week?
I was going to say it'd be more than 11. You know what else this movie loves? Reflections.
Oh, yes.
In sunglasses, in regular glasses, in puddles.
Sometimes the glasses move, but the reflection doesn't move.
Yeah, what's
and it's
going
a big
on there?
flaming Daredevil logo or whatever.
Yeah, it goes...
Like, that really stands out and is quite weird and jarring, but
It
all
is,
right,
isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah. I do like how this concludes, though. You mentioned the shot through the hands. Even though he does narrate it, I do like how that happens, and then he just fucking throws him out a window. I think that's great.
Presumably to his death. It's only the fact that he landed on a car that he lived.
He landed on Joey Pants. And then, of course, we get the Kingpin fight, which I think is also a lot of fun. And instead of using rain and love to be in the moment, he uses rain to just hit a guy a lot and then kick his knees completely backwards.
That's right.
Holy crap, Mason. Hope my mum didn't see this movie. She didn't.
I cannot imagine your mother watching Daredevil, original or extended version with Coolio.
It's interesting to know what ended up happening to this character because we recently found out this version.
Oh, he died.
He's dead. Yeah.
Because, of course, and everybody saw this, Deadpool and Wolverine, we, of course, get Jennifer Garner returns as Elektra.
Probably this version.
And her version of Daredevil, her great love, just died, I guess.
Yeah.
And she's fine with it now.
But you know what is interesting?
Go on.
There's a piece of concept art by Rodney Funtabella, and you can find it on Instagram, but also here it is here. He was very early on considered to be part of that movie. Sean Levy, the director of Deadpool and Wolverine, apparently never reached out to Ben Affleck. I can't imagine that's true. I think they probably did. I think Affleck would have done it.
I mean, maybe.
For enough money.
But does he want to be on set with his ex-wife? I don't know, man.
I mean, they still hang out. They're still bros.
Yeah, I've seen the paparazzi photos
You
of
know.
them going to Duncan.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
We'll do a Caravan of Garbage on it next week. Is that too soon? We won't do it next week. We're doing Elektra next
Oh,
week.
that one's bad.
Yeah, but don't worry about it because there's also an extended cut of that, and I have a copy. I will get it to you. Don't worry.
More tattoo magic?
More tattoo magic,
Right.
yeah. Do you know what it's time for now, though?
What's it time for?
Trivia Evil.
Love it.
The trivia section of the show where I say, here's 3 bits of trivia that related to this Daredevil movie, 2003.
Trivia 1. Here it is.
Other names for Daredevil that were considered were Colin Farrell, Matt Damon, Edward Norton, and they ended up going with Matt Murdock because that's his actual name. No, those are the actors I'm talking about.
Nice.
Vin Diesel was approached for both Daredevil and Bullseye.
Wow. And he said, what about both? I'm like, Vincent, please.
Yeah.
Vincent Diesel Fuel. Please.
Guy Pearce was offered the lead but turned it down. He said...
I'm waiting for Bloodshot.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to be the bad guy in Bloodshot decades later.
That's right.
I want to be in the last movie Meso sees before all the lockdowns happens.
Yeah.
And I remember it being a better movie than it almost certainly is.
So Guy Pearce said, yeah, it wasn't really I wasn't really comic strip stuff isn't really my cup of tea. Except he played Lava Monster Man in Iron Man 3.
We sure did.
And Bloodshot, as mentioned, as mate or enemy. Michael Clark Duncan actually reprised his role as the Kingpin in Spider-Man animated 2003 TV show.
Oh,
That's
question
fun.
mark?
Also, apparently, this is the first Marvel post-credits scene with Bullseye in the hospital.
There you go.
In the extended, it's not a post-credits scene, though. It's just in the movie.
in the movie.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the movie.
Because when Iron Man 2008 came out,
Yeah.
I remember thinking, gotta wait for that post-credits. But how did I know? I guess from Daredevil 2003.
X-Men 3 did it as well.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah,
some
yeah.
others at that point.
But how did I know? Probably because of Daredevil
Probably
2003.
2003, yeah.
Yeah. Also, at the end of the movie, why did Matt Murdock keep looking to the door of that coffee shop expecting Elektra to come through?
Yeah.
She died.
No, she didn't. She came back.
Yeah, but she died though.
Yeah, but he's hopeful.
I guess.
Yeah.
Instead, it was that woman that just looked kind of like her.
That was actually her stand-in.
There you go.
I know other things.
Yeah.
For example, I know this. In terms of box office, the budget was $78 million. That was increased from 50 after Spider-Man did well.
Nice.
They went, well, Daredevil's
Basically the same.
same guy, right?
Same
Regular.
red jumps. Well, he's on a rope
Swinging,
or something. I
whatever,
don't know.
yeah.
Punches.
Does he have the same rope as Spider-Man?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably,
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kevin Smith's on set. Ask him. I know he's talking too much. Stop asking him questions.
It did turn a profit. It made $179.2 million. It did okay, enough for a sequel to sort of begin to move forward. Affleck, though, said he didn't want to do it.
Damn.
In November of 2006.
I don't have any more Daredevil comics to read. I read them all for the last one.
What more could I possibly get? He felt that by playing a superhero in Daredevil, he inoculated himself from ever playing another superhero. Wearing a costume was a source of humiliation for me and something I wouldn't want to do again soon. Cut forward to The Flash.
Oh, yeah. Or just any scene where he's huffing and puffing.
Yeah.
Is it Batman v Superman or is Justice League where he's just running up and he's
Huffs and puffs up,
huffing,
yeah.
puffing, and everybody, all the action's already finished. He's like, oh.
Ben Affleck, if you know anything about Batman, in the games you get high and then you glide, or you use the grapple to grapple and then glide.
Yeah.
Had you not seen those games?
Yeah, man. No, you're not huffing and puffing running across the ground.
That man doesn't run.
God damn.
No. Affleck was also paid $11.5 million for this movie, which was
not bad.
the second, I agree, the second most for any comic book character lead, that is, behind Stallone's 15 for Judge Dredd. There's the Stallone fact.
There it is.
I would have thought there was Brando, but Brando got something like 3.7 for Jor-El and then 10 or 11% of the gross.
Oh, right, okay, sure.
So he would have got more overall, but I think as a one-off like payment.
Also, supporting character.
Yeah,
Hardly counts.
man.
Hardly counts. Anybody out there who's been a supporting character in a superhero movie doesn't count.
We hate you too.
We hate you. You think you're stupid. Put the jumpsuit on and go home.
Absolutely. So there were a few attempts to kind of get another one of these going, including a sequel. Obviously, we got Elektra, which is a spin-off. We'll talk about it next week. And don't forget, there is an extended cut. I will get you a copy.
Oh, jeez.
The closest it really came was Joe Carnahan pitched a version to Fox with a sizzle reel, which you can find online, where it's like a 1970s gritty taxi driver kind of
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
And it uses footage from this, among other films of the era.
Taxi Drive.
Yeah, Taxi Driver probably.
Nice.
But then Fox... Joker probably.
Which is set in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah, that's right. But Fox, of course, they let the rights lapse
Uh-oh.
back to Marvel, and then we end up getting the reboot, which is where we're still at now. So yeah, which is exciting.
It's very exciting.
Some of this is exciting just looking at it. Not as exciting as BigSandwich.co though. Do you know why?
Why?
Well, videos go up there early for one. If you want to see that Elektra one, it's early.
Oh, terrific.
It won't be there like the second this goes
No,
out, but it
no,
will
no,
be
no.
before the video comes out here.
I haven't even watched the extended edition of Elektra.
I gotta get that to you.
Oh, you don't have to.
4 hours.
That's too long. It's too long, and they've just put the Coolio courtroom scenes in it.
Good.
Doesn't even relate to the movie.
It's good though.
She's just like, I remember that one time my boyfriend defended Coolio.
There is a bit where there's a cop in it who Daredevil thinks is not lying, but then you find out he's got a pacemaker. So I think that's a fun inclusion. That's also from the comics. So there is some stuff in there which I think does actually add, I guess, in retrospect.
Sure.
But also there's a bunch of other stuff. We do video game Let's Plays. We're actually going to take a look at the cancelled Daredevil PlayStation 2 we got
a copy of that?
That's running. So here's some of it, but there'll be an actual video of it.
Is it just one jump and then that's the end?
We also do bonus podcasts. We do commentary over the top of movies.
That's right.
But also we have a podcast called The Weekly Planet where we talk movies and comics and TV shows that comes out every Monday. We talk the movie or TV show of the week and then the movie and TV news, don't we?
It's very hot.
It's got its own YouTube channel. It's on Spotify,
yeah.
Apple. It's on all the crook websites.
Podbean.
Probably on Podbean.
Very crook.
I don't know who's running that, but it might be on there as far as I know. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Grab that jam, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
His worst glasses. Daredevil's worst glasses
horrible.
in any medium.
Yeah, I agree.
And I guess they're like, well, we got to get him cool glasses.
No.
He doesn't wear...
Round
and red. Red and round.
Red and round, boys. We're making them red and round.
Grow up, Daredevil 2003.